Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. What happens when so-called benefics become malefics for your horoscope, for your particular ascendant? And what kind of results such a benefic can give you if it becomes a functional malefic? And when does it become so? So a general rule in astrology is that any planet whose Mool Trikona sign rules the 6th, 8th or the 12th house is a strong functional malefic for you, even though if it's a benefic. Say for example, for a Cancer ascendant native, Jupiter rules the 6th house and its Mool Trikona sign falls in the 6th house. So Jupiter becomes a functional malefic for a Cancer ascendant native. Normally, a planet which is ruling the 5th house is considered as a functional benefic. However, for Cancer ascendant native, Jupiter rules both a trine house as well as a 6th house. However, its Mool Trikona sign rules the 6th house, so it becomes a strong functional malefic for a Cancer ascendant native. So, any planet which rules the 6th house or 8th house or the 12th house for any ascendant generally becomes a functional malefic for that ascendant, even if it's a natural benefic. Here we are talking about natural benefics, we are not talking about the natural malefics, which we'll talk in another video. So, what are the natural benefics? We have Jupiter, Mercury, Venus and Moon. So, for any ascendant, if Jupiter, Moon, Venus or Mercury rule 6th house, 8th house or the 12th houses, then they are considered to be functional malefics, and they are considered to be strong functional malefics if their Mool Trikona sign lies in either the 6th house, 8th house or the 12th house. For example, for an Aries ascendant native, Mercury is a strong functional malefic because Mercury rules both the 3rd house as well as the 6th house. Any planet which rules the 3rd house for your ascendant becomes an inimical planet for your ascendant, even whether it's a benefic or a malefic, whether it's a natural benefic or a natural malefic for you. So keep this in mind that the 3rd lord of any ascendant is an inimical planet, but it may become a functional malefic if it rules the 6th house, 8th house or the 12th house. So for an Aries ascendant native, we know that Mercury becomes the functional malefic for Aries ascendant native. For Cancer ascendant native, for example, Jupiter becomes a functional malefic. Then for a Pisces ascendant native, Venus becomes the strong functional malefic. And for a Aquarius ascendant native, Mercury becomes a strong functional malefic. Then for a Sagittarius ascendant native, Moon becomes a functional malefic because Moon rules the 8th house for a Sagittarius ascendant native. So, basis which planet, for each ascendant you will find some or the other planet will rule the 6th house, 8th house and the 12th house, and if that planet is a natural benefic but it rules the 6th house, 8th house and the 12th house, then it's a functional malefic. Here we are talking about today for this video, again just to remind you, we are talking about a benefic, a natural benefic which becomes a functional malefic. However, any planet, whether it's a functional benefic, whether it's a natural benefic or natural malefic, if it rules the 6th house or the 8th house or the 12th house, becomes a functional malefic. So, for some ascendants, when a natural benefic becomes a functional malefic, then what kinds of challenges does it give? What kind of results does it give? Now, let's take in point for a Cancer ascendant native first. I am using the example of Cancer ascendant native because we know that Lord Rama, his Lagna or his ascendant or his rising sign was Cancer, Kark sign. And we know that all his planets were in exaltation, which means that Jupiter was exalted in the Lagna itself, in the 1st house itself. While Jupiter rules the trine house, so it should have been lucky, but Jupiter also rules the 6th house, that too its Mool Trikona sign of Sagittarius rules the 6th house, so it becomes a strong functional malefic for Cancer ascendant native. And for Lord Rama, Jupiter was placed right in the Lagna, and Jupiter is exalted, and that too in the Lagna. But it's a functional malefic. So while Jupiter gave wisdom to Lord Rama, wisdom in in all areas of his life, however, how it proved counter to him was because he was too wise for his times, and so he had this natural tendency to forgive. And while he was ready to fight, put up a fight wherever he found opposition, wherever he had to stand for dharma, for the righteous, yet he also had this, whether you want to call it a weakness or you want to call this large-heartedness, whatever you want to call it, he had this, tendency to forgive even his worst of his enemies, and there lied also a challenge for him. For example, when he had to give up his kingdom because his stepmother wanted his stepbrother to be the ruler rather than him, he was sent away to the jungle. He did not put up a fight. He wanted to honor his father's word. So being the wise son and the eldest son, he gave up his rights, his own right, and he went to the jungle. And then when Sita, his wife, was kidnapped, he was ready to forgive Ravan if he returned Sita without even a fight. And he sent several proposals to Ravana saying that you apologize, you give up Sita, you return her, and no bloodshed needs to be lost. So, but Ravana, being the arrogant person that he was, he did put up a fight, and eventually he was killed also. And mind you, even Ravana had all exalted planets except one planet. I'm leaving that for you for your study purposes, and why that planet, though it was exalted, changed tracks at the last moment. So Rama was ready to forgive even his worst of enemies, and that also became one of his undoing. When Sita came back from Lanka, when Ram rescued her, and somebody commented about Sita, then Rama was ready to put her through the Agni Pariksha. Being the wise person that he was, he wanted to lay the fears or the doubts of his own people at rest. And so every now and then he, in spite of having an exalted Jupiter, but Jupiter ruling the 6th house, in a way his wisdom became his undoing or his biggest challenge. And similarly, you will find that whenever natural benefic becomes a functional malefic, even if it's placed well, even if it's exalted, it will tend to give you challenges regarding the place that it rules. So for example, in the case of Ram, because 6th house was ruled by Jupiter, it went in the Lagna. So enemies, hidden enemies who he thought were his friends or his well-wishers, including his stepmother, who truly loved him a lot, but her own love for her biological son came in the way. So she became his enemy, and she sent him away to the jungle as being banished. So same thing happens for people who have even an exalted benefic which is placed well, but it's a functional malefic for that particular ascendant. So for example, for a Taurus ascendant native, Venus rules the Lagna, and Venus also rules the 6th house. So here Venus, because it's ruled the 6th house, should be a functional malefic, but because it is the Lagna lord, and hence it doesn't become a functional malefic. And keep this in mind. Similarly, for an Aries ascendant native, Mars is the ruler of the 8th house, but does not become a functional malefic because it is the Lagna lord. So that is the only rule which is an exception. The planet which rules the 6th, 8th or the 12th house, if it's the Lagna lord, then it doesn't become a functional malefic for that particular ascendant. However, for a Pisces ascendant native, Venus becomes a strong functional malefic because Venus rules the 8th house, and that through its Multrikona sign of Libra. So for a Pisces ascendant native, Venus becomes the strong functional malefic in the results connected to material benefits, connected to intimacy, connected to opposite gender, connected to relationships. So a Pisces ascendant native will find challenges there, and the results that the person gets is one, sudden upheaval, sudden obstacles, sudden challenges come to the person because of the 8th house coming into the picture. And also, while seemingly on paper the planet seems to be giving good results every now and then, but the planet will also throw up sudden upheaval. So for example, for a Pisces ascendant native, Venus ruling the 8th house through its Mool Trikona sign, you will think, or you will assume things are going well. Things will be going well in terms of your material positions. There is regular income, there are stable results, you will be making property, but suddenly something will come up, some notices come up, some issues, some challenges will come up in documentation of the property, or some tax notice comes up because the 8th house is also related to hidden wealth. So there are accusations. Then your married life may seem to be going well, or your love life may be seeming to be going well, and suddenly something happens because of which there is an obstacle. There is an obstacle maybe from your own friends, from society, from your own family, or both of you seem to be going very well, but suddenly something comes up and there is this distance which comes between a couple, or they come together assuming that they will be able to overcome their personality differences, but even after some time, when they find that the differences are too many, too wide, then eventually the relationship falls apart. So if the planet rules the 6th house, inimical forces come together, sudden issues come together, sicknesses may come together, challenges coming from court cases may come together, relationship challenges may come together, and challenges with office colleagues may come together, challenges with loved ones may come together if the planet ruled the 6th house. With the 8th house, we just saw the example for a Pisces ascendant native. Sudden obstacles, sudden upheavals, while things seem to be going well, suddenly things crop up. With the 6th house rulership, problems are more chronic, which means that slowly they come up and then they become chronic. With the 8th house, things suddenly happen rather than slowly something manifesting. And so the 8th house, especially if it's the Mool Trikona sign which is ruling, can become a larger challenge. Say for example, for a Taurus ascendant native, Jupiter becomes the 8th lord by virtue of its Mool Trikona sign Sagittarius ruling the 8th house. So for a Taurus ascendant native, Jupiter, wherever it is placed, will throw up results or challenges related to that house. So for a Taurus ascendant native, if Jupiter goes into the 4th house, for example, then in spite of being in the Leo sign, which is the friendly sign for Jupiter, yet every now and then you will find that related to home, related to your domestic life, related to mother, or related to finances, you will find challenges coming up. Sometimes you may assume that you have taken a wise decision, but after you take a decision, based on that decision or the backdrop of the decision, some obstacle, some challenge, some upheaval, some issue may come up. So when Jupiter goes inimical, becomes a functional malefic for you, then in terms of how it gives you or helps you in taking wise decisions, how it helps you in expanding, how it helps you in learning, how it helps you in bringing abundance and prosperity, how it reduces the challenge of where it aspects fall, all these become a challenge for you because Jupiter has become a functional malefic. Whereas Venus, when it becomes a functional malefic, it gives challenges in relationship, it gives challenges in material possessions, especially the tangible material possessions, your house, your vehicles, your jewelry, anything, your conveniences, anything and everything that you own, tangible wealth that you own, which wealth can buy. Venus gives you challenges there. Mercury gives you a challenge in terms of how you make your choices, in terms of your intelligence. So while a decision seems to be an intelligent decision, while a choice seems to be a good choice, an intelligent choice, a wise choice, however, with time, slowly it comes or it uncovers that the choice may not have been such a wise choice, and after all, because at that moment things looked okay, but there is always something which comes up later in time, because of which the choice or that analysis that you did about a certain situation and took a decision becomes your undoing. So Mercury will give you challenges related to the analytical ability, your choices, how you make, and how you use the power of choices, intelligence, how you use your intelligence to overcome things or to take a decision in a certain situation. Mercury sometimes also makes you take decisions in your younger age, especially if it's a functional malefic, then it makes you take decisions at a younger age, which later on in your later life you need to face. So especially during your teenage years, somebody who has Mercury as a functional malefic will find that they will run into bigger challenges because of the ability to find trouble even where trouble may not exist. So Mercury will definitely throw up challenges there. With Moon, if Moon becomes a functional malefic for you, for example, Moon becomes a functional malefic for somebody who is an Aquarius ascendant native, Moon becomes a functional malefic for somebody who is a Sagittarius ascendant native, Moon becomes a functional malefic for somebody who is a Leo ascendant native because of rulership of 6th house, 8th house and the 12th house. Then in these instances, related to the house that it rules, Moon does become a challenge. So Moon for Aquarius ascendant native, because of its rulership of the 6th house, will throw up challenges related to health, mental health also, illnesses also. If there are more malefics involved, then this person can go through depressions, can go through anxieties, may not be able to keep focus, may not be able to keep the emotions under control or be emotionally intelligent. The person may go through challenges of the chest, congestion, even heart-related ailments may also come up for somebody who is an Aquarius ascendant native, because Moon rules the 6th house of disease. Such a person may also not be able to face hidden enemies or things will suddenly come up. So you expect somebody to be a friend, but suddenly you hear somebody whom you think is a friend, is a well-wisher, do something or say something contrary to your expectation, and you are not able to face that. You are not able to look at it with wisdom or with calm and poise, and you react or overreact, or you're not able to take it and you take too much to heart. So you end up having a weak heart because you take too much to heart. So that is a challenge for Aquarius ascendant natives. For Sagittarius ascendant native, when Moon becomes the ruler of the 8th house, then such a person may go through sudden issues or challenges related to his wealth, also to his emotions. And one period you seem to be all good, all okay, and suddenly something comes up, some issue comes up, some communication comes up, some upheaval comes up, and you're not able to handle that issue. So for a Sagittarius ascendant native, the ability to handle your emotions well in the time of emergencies becomes questionable, becomes a challenge for you, and you, even if you are able to handle that obstacle, that upheaval which has suddenly come to you by virtue of ruling the 8th house, yet you take it too much to heart, and you suffer more emotionally because of the challenge. So friends, basis which planet rules your 6th house, 8th house or 12th house, even if they rule a trine house, but if they rule any of these houses, 6th, 8th or the 12th houses, then a natural benefic may also turn out to be a functional malefic. And so if a malefic becomes a functional, if a natural benefic becomes a functional malefic, they do throw up challenges, they do throw up issues. However, they may not throw as serious issues as a natural malefic, which also becomes a functional malefic in the horoscope, where the dangers are higher. However, you tend to depend on benefics to give you good results and to keep the malefics at bay. But if the natural benefic itself becomes a functional malefic, then it throws up issues and challenges and reduces the auspiciousness and the prosperity bringing tendency of the horoscope. So if you have any of the natural benefics which rule the 6th house, 8th house or the 12th house, beware of what challenges they can throw up, especially during their transits over the Kendra houses, and especially over the Lagna or over other malefics. You may expect that a natural benefic is transiting over the Lagna or over the Kendras or over other malefics, so they may tend to bring the challenges down. But on the contrary, natural benefic, which becomes a functional malefic for your ascendant, when it transits over important houses or over malefics, will throw up challenges and issues, and more so in the Antardasha and their Dasha period also. So be careful, look into your horoscope, understand which of these planets are those, which placement they have, how they are manifesting, and then keep a tight tab on them, keep a control over those tendencies, those properties of yours related to these planets, and you'll be better safe than sorry. So friends, please like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation for me, please reach out to me. The links given below. Until some other time with some other video. This is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.